Today, I'm joined by Natasha Moor, founder and CEO of Natasha Moor Cosmetics. During the episode, Natasha talks about the story behind her brand, useful skills to have when launching a cosmetics line, how to fund a cosmetics line when in the startup and development stages, how she looks after her customers, and what she does to maintain a healthy work-life balance. We're really looking forward to this episode. So can you tell us the story behind Natasha Moor Cosmetics?
Sure. So this one's a pretty long story because I think just talking about my brand gets me really into it. So if I start, you have to stop me. I basically launched my brand as a makeup artist. So I'd been traveling around the world doing brides and photo shoots and films, and but primarily my role was to be primarily my job was to be a makeup artist for brides. It was just something, it was my forte, and it was something that I just loved doing. And the reason for that was really because every time I would do a bride's makeup, it was different to a reaction that I would get from an actress or a model who's kind of used to looking, beautiful all the time and having their makeup done all the time. With brides, it's the biggest day of their lives. It's, the one time that they really want to look their best, and to have someone be there for you and do it for you. It was like they were almost trusting me with their, it just made me feel really great. So with bridal makeup, I kind of realized that I had this crazy sort of power. It sounds really weird, but this power to make women feel confident. And I actually grew up extremely insecure. I never looked in the mirror and said the things that some of my brides would say to me. Like, as soon as I do their makeup, they'd be like, oh my God, I look so beautiful. Oh my God. And they'd start taking selfies. And I've even had people cry of joy because they're so happy with the way they looked. And I just looked at them. Initially, I would judge them and be like, how is she doing this out loud? Like, how is she thinking that she looks so beautiful? How come I've never done that for myself? I've never said, oh my God, I look amazing. And so it was almost like a mind game that I would play with myself and be like, maybe, and I would judge them initially. And then I started to think, okay, this is a cycle. This keeps happening. I must be onto something so much bigger than myself. So much bigger than what I think I'm onto. And so when I was formulating products, I already had this mind in my head that I wanted to be, a businesswoman, not just doing makeup. And it was an amazing business. It is an amazing business being a bridal makeup artist. You travel all around the world. You get treated with so much respect and love, and it pays really well. So I didn't want to give that up, but I also really wanted to have a business of my own that I could call my baby, And then I realized that a lot of the women, there was not a lot of formulas in the market, like with lip products, where a lot of my brides, for example, they'd need their makeup on the whole day. And one of the things that I found was I was mixing a lot of shades together to create shades that were perfect for them. But I was also mixing shades and formulas together so that they would be long lasting. So they didn't require a touch up, because the last thing you want is to be taking photos with your family. And then, you need a touch up and you realize you don't have lipstick on. And lipstick is really important. So I actually started formulating products. And I thought, when I was in this process, I was like, I don't really want to just have another makeup brand that says, sexy girl or hot mama or any of those things. I want a brand that really sends the message that I send to my brides, that empowering factor of confidence. How am I able to do this through me doing their makeup? I want every woman in the world, as cheesy as it sounds, to actually be able to feel that confidence. And so I did that through creating products. Now, I actually went and tested my theories out because I also thought, okay, maybe I'm just crazy. I actually went and visited I thought I want to do this for women that need this the most. So I went and visited women's shelters, drug and rehab facilities. I went to homeless shelters, and I just did their makeup. Like, I just, as if they were hiring me to do their makeup, I just kind of did it. And it was really interesting, the experiences that I had, and I learned so much from it. And the one resounding thing that I realized was that makeup can give you confidence. And it really made a lot of these victims of human trafficking, who were hidden in shelters, they felt confident with just lipstick. And it was crazy. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to make sure that every shade gives the affirmation that I want them to feel. And that's how I kind of created our line with all, affirming shades and positivity.
That's such an amazing and inspiring story. I don't think it's very often that a person is able to combine their passion of just their passion really with their interest and really make it into a career, and then not only have that for themselves, but to give such good positive energy onto other people. I just think it's really amazing. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. To me, that's the biggest compliment anyone can give me. So thank you.
But with myself, I wake up in the morning. You go to the bathroom, teeth, makeup, and all that kind of stuff, and you do feel so much. A lot more uplifted when you feel good. And I always question myself. I think, why? Because at the end of the day, it's you, your personality that is that is in control of your life. But I think it is weird how just feeling great does change your day. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to look or feel good at all.
Exactly. I started to notice this because I would also think to myself, wait, what am I sending the message that you need makeup to be a nice person? No. But I started noticing that a lot of my clients, when I would do their makeup, think about it. It's so straightforward. You feel good. You look good. You're nicer to everyone around you. The world is a happier place. It just is. You're nicer to your children. You're nicer to your husband. You kind of feel like, oh, I look good. Maybe I should give him a little more. It just is what it is. And that's the power of makeup. And that's the transformative power of makeup.
It's just one of those natural things, I think. It's like when the sun is shining, everybody is happy, right? It's just natural. Yeah. I don't think it's vanity at all. I don't think it's a bad message to say, look, feel good. This product can inspire that. It's just a natural thing. So fantastic. Thank you for sending that positive message.
No, of course.
Without giving away your brand secrets, or you can, I don't know, what gives the Natasha Moor Cosmetics their wow factor?
Well, honestly, our products are made with so much love. I swear, I know this sounds like the cheesiest thing in the world, but everything from I just did a tutorial now with someone. Everything from our packaging is just made so beautifully so that, when you see it, it's also, you're putting it on your face. You want to feel like, wow, this is luxurious. This feels glamorous. Even our silk suedes, for example, they all come with a mirror. And so, and it's got a push release button. You kind of press it. You can use your lipsticks on the go. It's gold. It's beautiful. So besides the aesthetic aspect of it, the formulas are created by a makeup artist who's extremely meticulous about details. So I wanted something, again, super long lasting. Our molten mattes don't come off. You can see I've been drinking my apple cider vinegar and there's just nothing on my lips. There's no stain. There's nothing on the glass. And they're kiss proof, they're mask proof right now with in London, you don't need to wear masks right now. So that's good. But it's kiss proof and it's, it just makes you feel confident because you have something on and you know that it's not going to come off and it's not going to be smudged on half the side of your face. And so besides the fact that it aesthetically looks pleasing and the formulas itself are really good, I think the one thing that separates our brand from everything else is really just knowing that when you're using a brand like this, you know that you're actually going to be able to help other people plus yourself, but with our affirmations. So our shades are game changer, CEO, ambition, drive, hustler. I think for me, that really separates it from every other brand in the market because it's a feel factor brand. It gives you the feeling of warmth. And we really want to be able to be a brand that encourages inclusivity. I want to create a community. I honestly, every time people are like, oh, you're the next big whatever, and they name a brand, I'm like, no, I'm just going to be myself. I want to be a brand that you can speak to. I'm not some founder or some celebrity that you can't, reach. I still respond to all my followers as much as I can. Most of my followers on Instagram who ask me about concealer shades and lipstick shades. And I will tell you if you shouldn't buy a product. I think authenticity is the most important thing.
I think so too, because then your customers really know that you're honest and that you've got their best interests. And I think that there's no secret that the cosmetic industry is flooded, right? People know that, and people know that they're being marketed to. So when they know that you're being straight up and honest with them, they trust you. And I think that you need that element of trust there.
I think
you get
trust,
your return client, and you don't want to sell to somebody that doesn't need it. And that comes across, I think, with Natasha Moor products.
100%. That's the one. So every time I have meetings with people, with buyers or whatever, I'm like, listen, I'm a makeup artist at heart. I'm not a salesperson. So if something doesn't look good on someone, I do not want people to sell it. I hate when you go into a store and they sell you everything and you feel intimidated. That's the last thing I want from my customers and my clients. I want them to come in and be like, this is what I know is perfect for me. Less is more. This is what I need. This is like they'll have loyalty towards the brand because the products are going to be that good and they'll last you. There's something you want to use forever.
Yeah, exactly. And it was what you were saying before, right? As if people put on your makeup and, feel great. If they're wearing something that's not right for them, right, they're not going to feel great. Yeah. So I think being straight up and honest is the only way to go. So as you've mentioned, Natasha Moor products have been given names such as CEO, Hustler, Ambition, and Boss, which I love, by the way. It's not Boss Babe, right? It's just Boss.
No, it's just Boss. No Boss Babe.
I hate Boss Babe because, guys aren't called Boss Man, right? It's like,
yeah,
I just think, attach that babe part onto it. Not cool. Anyway, what are the go-to key cosmetics that are busy, on-the-go boss who wants to feel made up and confident but doesn't have the time to apply full glam? What should they have as their staple pieces of makeup?
So honestly, I don't use foundation, and I've not used foundation on any of my clients over the last 5 years. I created a 3-step process to make life really easy for women because I know that a lot of women don't have time. They have children, they have businesses, they have lives. There's so much going on. The last thing they need is to put a lot of makeup on and spend their time doing their makeup. So for me, I created this 3-step process, which still can be a lot. Like I use that only on a night out. For my daily, I just use a little bit of our Liquid Magic concealer because it's super hydrating. It's good for coverage. So this is everyone asks me, like, if there was one product, that I can't live without, what would it be? It would be this. It was Liquid Magic. Because for me, at least, when my skin, I get hormonal breakouts, I get acne all the time. This is super, it's non-comedogenic. It's really great for sensitive skin. It's formulated for people like me. And it works really well. It makes you feel moisturized. It doesn't feel heavy on your skin. So I would say just use a concealer, a nice molten matte lip color, because that won't come off, and a mascara. Like that's it. You just need 3 staple things and you're like good to go.
Yeah, good. It sounds like you don't want to change people's appearance too much. You're just, as we were saying at the beginning, uplifting what they have.
It's about enhancing your beauty and not masking anything.
Yeah.
That's 100%. Yeah.
So you were saying before that you were insecure before you launched your beauty brand. Cosmetic brand even.
I'm still insecure.
No, stop it. What advice would you give to people? We all have our insecurities.
Serious. That's what my advice to people is that we all have insecurities. And even someone like me, who people don't believe that I'm insecure. They look at me and they're like, oh, she's a boss babe. As you said, she's traveling the world. She's living her life. She's making her money. I'm like, guys, that's not at all what it's like. I think that the most important thing is to have this understanding that we're all in this together. So, creating a community for me is very important. I'm trying to send this message of insecurity being okay. Because I think a lot of people will say, oh, I'm insecure and it's not okay. And you work on it so much. I know I'm like that. I'm working on it, but I'm lying to myself by saying, no, I'm super confident. I'm not. I have issues. Everyone has issues. My gym trainer, who has the hottest body, my yoga teacher, my gosh, she has hardcore abs. And I just shot an insecurity campaign. I don't know if you've seen that, but it was amazing to hear these women's stories because for me, I resonated with every single thing except the woman who had a baby. But I was like, oh, I can't even imagine what's going to happen to me when I have kids because I'm already so insecure. And mine is a severe level. Like my family, my friends, they all think that I'm crazy.
Do you think it's again? Oh, sorry to interrupt you. Do you think it's again that human nature thing? Do you think that people have always had insecurities, in every decade? Because people say that social media has made it worse, but
I think social media has made it worse, of course, but it's always been around. I mean, just being like my Indian culture, for example, as a kid, if you're overweight, an auntie or an uncle will mention it to you and be like, "Oh, you've gained weight." Like it's a lot of things that are directed to you as a kid. And I guess for me, I heard a lot of it. I had bad skin. I was overweight. There's so many things. So for me now, if I just get one pimple, I'm crying for a day. If I feel like I look fat, people think, "Oh my God, what's wrong with her?" But it's a genuine insecurity. I'm constantly thinking, "Oh my God, do I look fat? Do I look this? It's really bad to be this way, but I'm working towards being a more confident and happier Natasha.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that you're in control of it, even if it does, present itself to you every now and again. You
Yeah, I'm
hopefully can
trying.
recognize it, and I think that's the message to get out there. It's probably
Yeah,
okay to know
it's
that
okay.
your
Yes.
insecurities are going to creep up on you every now and again. It's remembering, as long as you're happy and healthy. I think the main thing is to make sure that you're healthy,
Yeah.
and take one day at a time. Really, just get over it. Have a good day. Do something fun. Make yourself feel better.
Exactly. Exactly. Make yourself feel better. That really helps. So I box a lot and I do a lot of hot yoga. I work out a lot. But for someone who works out so much, my insecurity levels on my body are not normal.
Sounds to me
They're
like you
really
just
bad.
care about
Aesthetic.
your fitness, your image, I suppose. And as
Image.
I said,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with caring about your image. It's
Yeah.
a reflection of
Yeah.
yourself. So, you've got to feel positive about things, but what goes up must come down. So it's getting that balance right, isn't it?
Exactly. Balance is key.
No filter. How have your previous careers as a makeup artist and in PR and entertainment contributed to your success as founder and CEO of Natasha Moor Cosmetics?
That is so funny you said that. I just spoke to my boyfriend this morning and I said, the amount of things that I have to balance in a day as an entrepreneur, I'm so blessed to have had the jobs that I had in my life because at the time I was like, what is this crap that I'm doing for people? Like I'm literally, a slave to so many things, but I learned so much from it. Like I'll give you a very, very interesting example. I never thought that I would be a writer in any way. I can't write and I can't, but I've actually had to write all the product descriptions because no one else can describe my products the way I can. So I had people do it. And I was like, no, I'm doing this from the beginning. And I did everything myself because I was like, you know, these are things that you learn about. I mean, no one knows my products the way I do, but I learned this in PR. I learned how to sell a product, to write press releases, to talk about brand launches and all these things I learned. But also when I first graduated, I was working with fashion TV, which meant I had to be publicly speaking. I was even on a TV show, a reality TV show to win it was like to be the host of the channel, Fashion One channel. Um, it was cool, but I was a wreck. I was so nervous. I was always on the spot. I had to come up with stuff and I would stumble and I wouldn't know how to speak. And I learned from it. Like now I can do YouTube videos because of it confidently. And so when people see me, they're like, there's no way you're insecure. That's just bull. You're just saying that for the brand. I'm like, no, it's really good that I've been able to work on my confidence on the exterior. Now I really need to work on the inside.
Yeah, you've been practicing, and practicing, and you got to the point
Yes.
now where you can just roll with it. I guess
Yeah.
the more you practice something, the easier it becomes, right? Or you
Exactly.
hope so anyway, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So what are the first steps, or what were the first steps of your business strategy, and how did you go about executing them? Do you have any regrets?
I don't believe in any regrets in life, whether it's in my personal life or it just brings you a lot of negativity that you don't need. I believe in the power of positivity and manifestation. I've gone through a spiritual path for myself now, and I feel like that's really guided me towards being more positive towards a brand because there's been so many failures. I don't like to use that word either, but with the word failures, when I say failures, I mean those whatever happened to me in those phases in my life were actually stepping stones to being it shaped me into the person that I am today. And it shaped my brand into being the brand that it is today. And I guess, how did I start? I started with passion. That was the first thing, and determination. And knowing that the one thing I knew always, I might not have confidence in my appearance, but I've always known that I'm a good person and that I want to be able, and I said this the other day as well. It sounds a little bit cocky and obnoxious, but I know that I have no bad intentions for anyone. So even with the stuff that I do in terms of empowering women and helping other women supporting their businesses, I do it from my heart because I know that I have no bad intentions for anyone. So even with my brand, that's kind of the message I want to bring to women, is that there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of drama that sometimes and a lot of jealousy. And I faced it a lot. And just being able to know that we have a group of people that can support you is really important. So I had to do this all on my own. The reason I'm saying all of this is because when I started, I felt very much alone. And I felt like there was a lot of jealous eyes at me because I was 25 when I started developing products. And, as a makeup artist, I was 24. And it was young. You just graduated uni. I was, PR, marketing. I was doing all these fun things. So there were a lot of eyes on me, like, who is she and why is she doing all this? Who does she think she is? Especially in my community. There was a lot of support, but there was also a lot of haters. There was a lot of men who would say things like, uncles who would come up to me and say things like, how are you traveling so much? If I was your husband, I would leave you. And it shattered me. And it would break my heart. I remember going home and crying almost every day, thinking like, wow, I'm at fault for just following my heart and following my soul and doing what I love and knowing that I'm going to make an impact in people's lives. And so there was a lot of me being alone, but I also had a lot of support from some amazing mentors. So that's really how I just kind of kickstarted my way into setting up a business, is just trusting my gut and going for it. I can't tell you how many people said, you're a nobody. Why would you start your own cosmetic brand? You're just a makeup artist. So many people.
I would love to say I can't believe that, but there are those people out there, and you just you did a fantastic job of not listening to them, because you just have to stay true to yourself, know what your passion is and drive, and know that you are enough to kill it, which you have obviously done.
Thank you. So a long way to go.
No, not at all. Like, you're already there making a change to so many people's lives. So you are already doing a fantastic job. But, I have no doubt that you're going to go onwards and upwards. So how closely do you work with the chemists who produce the formulas now? And how did you gain the knowledge to understand what your products needed to be of such high quality?
So there's an ongoing joke with every factory that I work with. And they're like, you are crazy. You are honestly the craziest person we've ever dealt with, because every little detail, they're like, if there's something wrong with it, I'm like, no, sorry, this is not right. And they're like, no one would even notice this, or no one knows. And a lot of the things that I deal with in my factories, they obviously have the expertise and the chemists, and they all know. I work very closely with them, by the way, just to answer your question. Very, very, very close. I'm on top of their head. But they learn a lot from my weird suggestions and recommendations. And they're kind of like, we really like this. Could you help us with our other brands? So that's kind of started to happen nowadays, where they're like, we like your expertise and your take on certain things, because other people don't look at it. And they look at it as like a brand that they want to sell. I look at it as like a brand that I want to help people with. And I really want to be able to tackle certain issues that women have or men have. Whether it is dark circles and the coloring of the corrector and certain things that I know will really affect, it's not just about selling it and just putting out whatever product could be out there. It's really about finding the right sort of thing for the right kind of skin tones. And so very closely.
That's the thing, isn't it? I think a lot of people create brands with the end result of, making a profitable business.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with wanting a profitable business. That is the goal of business, right? A goal. But that's just very narrow-minded, isn't it? You have got, the passion there to look after people's appearance, you've got the business mentality and everything else that comes off of that. And I think that's what creates the full package. You're mentoring really your chemists, and they're able to educate you back. So you're really creating that kind of like well-rounded person and business person.
Thank you.
So how do you deliver an exceptional customer experience once your product is formulated?
So I have actually made it a point to make sure I want people to ask me questions. I want to do lives with people. I want to be able to teach them, because for me, it's super important for them to actually get it right. It's not just about buying my concealer and then using it and then not doing it correctly. I want to be able to help them with their concerns. So I kind of think of myself as like a makeup doctor, and like any questions that you have, like, why can't I help you? If this is what I do as a profession, if I'm able to somehow help you, I'm more than happy to do so. So I want to be able to have that message across, for our brand. And I have some really big plans in the pipeline, just in terms of like AI and getting me accessible to people. I want to be your best friend next door that you can just, call and be like, I have problems, and, I'll be there anytime.
I'm really excited for that. So you mentioned that you do lives and you've got your YouTube channel where people can...
Well, I just started my YouTube channel. I've been so busy with product development and so much that goes on into creating a brand, that's suitable for places like Sephora and Macy's. Obviously, you have to be at a certain, like, I mean, just even things like our packaging, our stickers, everything is so detail oriented that it requires a lot of my time. So I've just started a YouTube channel finally, and I'm trying to build that, obviously. And I mean, for example, just before you, I had a call with a huge fan follower, but also someone who purchases our products a lot. And she kept asking on our Instagram, how do I use our concealers? And I said, let me just do a one-on-one complimentary consultation and just show you how to do it. And so I think that's so important for someone to be able to be like, oh my gosh, the owner of this brand is teaching me how to do it. It doesn't get better than that, So I want to be able to do that for people.
Well, I will put a link to your YouTube channel and your Instagram in the show notes for everybody that wants to get quick access to that. But going back now to when you started the business, how does an entrepreneur who is looking to start a cosmetic brand go about like raising the funds? How are you able to really launch it?
So I saved all the money that I worked really, really hard on, doing all these brides. I was traveling every 3 days in different countries. And I was very blessed that people received me as a makeup artist very well. And I was able to be at a premium level, to be able to launch a brand. So that I have to put out there, very blessed and very happy that I was able to do that. I did hit a roadblock at one point for personal reasons. All the money that I had saved originally had to go somewhere else. And I was so depressed. I remember thinking to myself, wow, all of this money that I've worked so hard on, I can't launch my brand. And I had already formulated all the products and everything was ready to go. This was before Sephora days. This is when I was 26. And I had hit a wall, let's say. But it was actually a blessing because I was able to launch it the year later. I worked extra hard. Oh my gosh, I was not sleeping for a year. I remember that year. I just went so heavy into it. And I guess I realized that there was more soul to the brand than I thought. That's when I really, I started to learn about myself. There's a lot of me that went into the process of building this brand. I saved up all that money again, launched the brand. And from there, I just kind of never stopped working. Like I was traveling, doing brides everywhere. Again, every 3 days, different country. I was in Mexico, Bali, Jakarta, Thailand. I was everywhere and really not sleeping. But then last year, once we launched into Sephora, we obviously had more interest in the brand from investors. So we've now actually expanded the brand and we are expanding further. So luckily, that's kind of a little bit of stress that's gone out. But I thought it would be a lot less of stress. Now it's kind of like more stress because there's more on me. It's like, I need to make this work, and people don't know that. People don't see that. They see only the success side. They don't see the hardships. And that's another thing I would love for people to see, because it's about keeping it real, right? Authenticity is so important. I want them to know that we're all struggling. It's not like, yeah.
This is the thing, isn't it? I think that there's not enough information out there for people who aren't brought up, really understanding how businesses work and how they are executed, how they launch. And I really do think it's important for people to know how to create that and how much blood, sweat, and tears goes into it. Your story is so inspirational. You're very determined. You saved up all that money. That's huge. That's huge. To make it to the point where you have investors is really sounds really difficult.
It was really difficult. When you say blood, sweat, and tears, last year I actually had COVID. I was in the hospital for 34 days. It was a nightmare, blah, blah, blah. It was in the beginning. I actually flew back from London and got COVID. But anyways, that's a story for another time. But when I got out of the hospital, obviously it was COVID. I didn't have anyone working with me. It was all me. And I remember having to pack boxes for Sephora orders because we had just launched into Sephora in Southeast Asia. And I was packing all these boxes myself and orders. And I had to lift these heavy boxes. I created like a little warehouse in my own house because I had to shut my office down because I had, expenses now. And there was so much that happened. I was doing all this and I lifted these boxes and I ended up getting a hernia and having to have surgery like the next day. So yes, blood, sweat, tears. There's so much shit that goes down with having your own business. But people don't see that, right? They're like, oh, whatever.
I was going to say something about how you work with your investors. It sounds to me like you still have complete control of the company, that it's really all your vision. Do you have to work with them at all to, talk about the direction of the company? How do you handle that?
So I'm also a total newbie with business. I don't know anything about finance, business. At heart, I'm a makeup artist, right? I'm here to make people feel beautiful and look beautiful. And so one of the things that I would love to say is that I gave myself so much crap for not being smart enough. And I put this in speech bubbles because I just didn't think that I was good enough to even have a business because I don't know math and I would fail at math. And I was honestly in school called out so many times for being so bad at studying that a lot of the times I just, I doubted myself. That was probably the only time I doubted myself. And when I had to start speaking to investors, because obviously the brand we were at a point where it was, okay, we could do well on our own, but we just stay here. If you want to expand, if you want to, develop a product line, there's so many expenses. If you want to hire a digital marketing agency, you need money. You need money to grow, right? Yeah. And I got really lucky because I have a CFO who is so my brother, actually, he's my cousin. I'm an only child. He's my cousin and he rescued me from the hell that I was in at one point. And I remember speaking to him about all the financial troubles with the brand. And I said, and he's the smartest kid I've ever met in my life. He's so smart. He's so determined. He's so driven. And I said, look, I really need help with my finance. Like, I need you to help me see the costing of this and see in this. So he actually now has become my financial officer. We worked together to create a business plan. We got a loan from someone initially to build the brand a little bit more, to be able to expand. And then from that loan, we actually raised money with investors. And so it was a long ongoing process, and it was all during COVID as well. So I had to reach out to my friends and family. I mean, I'm still learning on the way, certain things. And working with investors, I think the most important thing is really just to find people who truly believe in you. I actually rejected a few on the way, which we were about to sign. It was big money. It was good, everything. And I just didn't feel the vibe. I was like, these people don't have my back. And at the end of the day, what's the most important thing? I have to stay true to the fact that my brand is here to make women feel empowered, to be amazing products. I don't want someone to take it over and not have the messaging that I need.
Exactly. There's little point in letting somebody invest a lot of money into your company if it's not going to be your company anymore.
Yeah,
and it doesn't sound like that's the way you'd want to take it.
I think the most important thing is to trust your gut, really.
That's really good advice, Natasha. Really good advice.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned that you're in Sephora and Macy's. How did you decide it was the right time to expand from retailing exclusively online to in stores?
We're not in stores just yet because of that. And we're only online. And I decided to do that because of COVID. So everyone that we're speaking to right now, I still kind of want to avoid it just because it's such a sensitive topic to me. And I don't want to do testing in the stores, and it's COVID time. I want people to be able to try the product, to buy the product and online. It's just easier at the moment.
So you say at the moment, do you have plans to go in store?
100%. That's the dream.
When do you know that is the right time after selling online?
I think I could make that choice right now. It's just still COVID that's really come in the way. I would have probably done it now. It also requires a lot more of an investment. Right now, what I want to do is really build each market strategically, work with the US heavily. I've never spent money on ads, and now we're finally going to be doing that. So there's little things that we're going to be doing just to really build the brand. So I want to focus on our US market. We're launching in a very exciting market, one of my favorites. I don't know when is this going to release?
During July.
Okay, I can't say where, but I'll tell you later. But a very exciting market that I've been dreaming of. And it's with someone that I'm so excited to be working with. So,
oh, well done! I'm really excited to for the revealing even.
Thanks, revealing.
So it sounds like you are an incredibly busy person. How do you maintain a healthy work-life balance?
So this is something I don't think I have a healthy work-life balance. I think what I do have is I work on my food and my diet and my fitness. I'm constantly doing that, but I never used to sleep. I sleep 3-4 hours a day for the last 3 years, and it's really bad for you. So only in the last month I've been sleeping or trying to sleep between 6 to 8 hours. And I think that's helped a lot. So I'm definitely not super balanced in many ways. I eat very clean. I don't eat gluten, dairy, sugar. And I think that's what gives me the energy. And I haven't done that in 2.5 years. I have an amazing health coach. I work out every single day. And if I don't work out, I feel like I'm missing something. So I need that balance. So even tomorrow, there are no classes available for boxing and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go to the gym. But then I'm also telling myself, this is a sign. You need to relax. You need a day off. You need to just not work out for one day. So I'm trying to be a little bit more balanced because that's very important for mental sanity, for sure.
Yeah, I guess it's just finding something that you really enjoy doing and making sure that you keep up with it.
I used to really love watching TV. I just can't watch TV anymore.
I used to like watching TV when I was younger as well. Now I just feel like it's a real drain on time.
Yeah.
I just think I could be putting my time and energy to something else and being more creative. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with getting like stuck into a good Netflix series or film every now and again. Yeah. I just would hate to think of my life going past me, sat in front of a TV. But as I said, like there is a time and a place for it for sure.
Exactly. And it's also about perception, right? Because that's how I used to think. And now I'm like, dude, enjoy this. You're alone. This is you time. You can watch something. You're not wasting your life. You're enjoying the moment. And that moment is so important. So I've done a lot of healing work on myself to try and enjoy the moment. And I have a great support system. My boyfriend right now is like king of wanting to be happy. Like that's his goal in life. So he's one of my biggest inspirations, actually. For him, he's always wanting to his goal in life is really just to be a happy person. And the way that sometimes, with relationships, we're in a long distance relationship, but when you're in a relationship, there's always arguments over so many things. Like, how can you just not give me time? How can you not do this? With him, he's always such a positive person that I think it's very important to surround yourself with positivity like that. So
I'm so pleased that you've got a cheerleader by your side cheering you on.
Yeah, he is a cheerleader. And also sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, he's giving me shit again for being negative. I'm just complaining to you because you're the one person I can complain to. But at the end of the day, I look at it, I'm like, what a freaking inspiring man, because all he wants is for me to be happy. And he's just being a happy person, and he's not finding flaws in anything, in himself, in me, not complaining. He just wants a happy life. And I'm so inspired to be like that.
Yeah. The thing is, though, I think you have to think about it as if, I wouldn't say you are, well, I don't know, but sometimes I think venting is a little bit different than complaining. Sometimes you just have to release, this pressure that's been built up inside of you. You just got to get it out. Like, it sounds like you do that with your boxing as well, but sometimes you just have to have a right, B word, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. No, so that's how I would think. And I tell him, I'm like, I'm just venting. I'm not complaining. Who else can I talk to if not you? But his point is, honestly, I feel like sometimes he's just like the spiritual guru or something that he doesn't even know that he is, because his point is actually very valid. And the more I think about what he's saying, the more I'm like, actually, you're right. Why do I need to vent? That's just putting negative energy out there. I'm just going to say positive things. And I might sound like a fool, but it might actually help me. And it does. I've actually started doing that. So if something's bothering me, he's like, but why are you, just find a solution and think about it and just be positive about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But it helps. It helps. Let's try it next time. Next time you want to vent, let's think of what Sahil would say.
So what's your best piece of advice for being a successful entrepreneur?
My best piece of advice for being a successful entrepreneur, number one, is I don't know if I'm ever going to classify myself as successful. So there's two ways of looking at it, right? I've gotten into this whole manifestation and positivity. And so I should say I am a successful entrepreneur because that manifests that right energy. But as an entrepreneur, I know that I'm not never going to be happy, but I'm always going to want to achieve more. And that's where you get your drive and determination. So there's a fine line between, saying that you're a successful person and actually being a successful person and believing that you're a successful person. So I think the best advice I can give is to trust your gut and believe in yourself, but always aim for higher and know that there's always room for improvement. You can always achieve what you put your heart and your soul into. But just don't have your hair, just don't be all obnoxious about it and think that you've reached it. Because when you think like that, also, it doesn't necessarily make you, I guess sometimes it can mask you from believing that there's more to achieve.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. That's fantastic advice.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. You have been an incredible guest. I've really enjoyed chatting with you, and I know that the listeners are going to get so much out of this episode. So thank you very much for taking the time out to speak to us.
Of course, I had such a lovely time. Thank you.